But Man City again, steamrolled 6-3. I thought when the
Yeah.
goals came in for Leipzig, you'd think, okay, you know what? Leipzig's got the ascendancy here. Leipzig's got
Yeah.
they've got the confidence, but nope. At the other end, City just
Yeah,
kept
I
on
don't think
killing off.
I don't think it's a lack of goals, firepower, performances from the players. It
Yeah.
seems like it's a lack of support or maybe a lack of atmosphere.
Oh
As
yeah, I
as
heard
the
that as well.
empty heart they
Yeah.
call it, empty heart.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm just kidding, but it was kind of empty. So hello and welcome to another recording of the Al and Jerry Football Podcast with my compadre should I say Alejandro? With my
Can
compadre
Alessandro.
Alessandro is okay. Huh? So man, how you doing?
Grazie mille, Jerry. Hi guys, how you all doing? Hope everyone's well. And how you doing, Jerry? How's things, man?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
The week was boring as hell in terms of the break, not having the match. I mean, the break before the last week, obviously. But F1 was pretty fun. But aside from
Yeah.
that, Champions League is back. Oh, these are the champions.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everybody's got that on their playlist.
Like on their
It used to be the
ringtone.
ringtone, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, how iconic is that Champions League soundtrack?
I mean, it's one of those that will never go old. It's one of those that will, that every fan can hum to and know about, even by the first syllable, the first rhythm, and everybody just knows about.
Yeah, when the trumpets come in, right, you can already hear and then I mean, it gives you that gladiator sort of like Lord of the Rings feel, isn't it?
Right.
It's like they're gonna play in a Coliseum, not really like a football stadium, but it's like you go to battle and stuff. But yeah,
especially if you're a young boy. Hey.
Especially if you're a young boy coming up against some devils. I guess the young boys triumphed over the Devils. But what a week of matches. Obviously, the Champions League started, guys. So we're gonna do a quick run through of the English teams, obviously first, since we're focusing predominantly on the EPL. So I will give us a quick rundown we will give you guys a quick rundown of the English teams, and then we will go through some of the other matches. Obviously, lots to cover in terms of the Champions Leagues from all six groups. So yeah, I guess I'll start off with Liverpool.
Oh, what a game!
Obviously Liverpool and Milan. I think that was a Champions League classic, sort of. Fast forwarded into our current time. I mean, if we think of the previous clashes of Liverpool and AC Milan, it's funny because like you always think Liverpool Milan, like that's a good game, right? But they've never actually met in the group stage. They've always met in the final,
Really?
So the finals and the knockout stages. So they've never played each other two legs in the group leg before. So this is the first time we're sort of Milan's coming to Anfield and Liverpool's going to San Siro.
That's interesting. What do you think about the game? I thought it was a fantastic game. What do you think, Jerry? I mean,
it was a fantastic game. I mean, like it had everything. I think it was great for the neutral. I mean, as a neutral, definitely, I think both of us enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
But I think Liverpool clearly the dominant team. I think from the start itself, the intensity level, the energy level. I mean, even just Trent. I think Trent alone, like his intensity level, just like captured the whole, like everybody in the stadium itself. Obviously, Trent running down the right channel, getting the first goal. It seemed like a deflection of Tomori, but even Tomori said in the post-match, he said it would have been harsh not to give the goal to Trent. And obviously, dominant first half display, but Milan with a response
out of nowhere.
The last 2 minutes out of nowhere. But like, I think that just shows the danger of this team, this Milan team. We spoke, I think, before we started recording. Al and I spoke of how like they're a bit inexperienced in the Champions League, but not inexperienced in terms of football. I mean, I think they're very dangerous team on the counter attack. Very fluid team, young team as well. I mean, with players like Rafa Leao, Brahim Diaz, Ante Rebic as well. And Ante Rebic, definitely, I think he was the main protagonist of that team. And he's going to be, I think he could be one of the standout players of the Champions League if Milan goes on a good run. Obviously, Milan are playing Atletico next, but yeah, I mean, they provided a little bit of a banana skin for Liverpool, I think, there. And seemed like it was going to be a second Istanbul comeback, you know? But
Yeah,
obviously,
it
the
seemed
second
that
half
way all of a
started.
sudden. Yeah.
Yeah, the second half started and intensity was the same. Obviously, Salah getting the quick goal and Henderson half volley with a half volley,
Handling
first
some
time half
inner
volley.
CVG.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, that was like
Taking it
Steven
back.
Henderson
It was taking it
or
back.
Jordan Gerrard. Yeah, it was a bit of a throwback to an old, a classic Liverpool captain. So I guess to sum up the match, intensity, I think the crowd sort of reflected the intensity of the team, and the team sort of reflected the intensity of the crowd. Champions League in Anfield, full crowd, full house, as loud as it could be. Two great classic Champions League teams. Obviously, we know the most successful team in the Champions League is Madrid, just for your information, guys, and followed by AC Milan and Liverpool next. So obviously, it was a clash of the sort of the titans, I guess, of the Champions League. But yeah, I think intensity and like sort of great match, great match.
I'm looking
And
forward for the fixture at the San
return,
Siro, because
yeah,
don't take Stefano Pioli as somebody who's going to be laying down. I think he's done fantastic at Milan so far to
yeah,
bring them up from where they were. I mean, if you
from where they
remember,
were, definitely.
Milan looked like a club in the down, in the going, and all of a sudden what he's done is just fantastic. And I thought some parts of their play when they played against Liverpool, they were taking the game to Liverpool, I thought. And it was in many
Yeah,
ways a performance. Of course, defensively, they had to be tight. Liverpool were going to attack them from the get-go. But yeah, on the day, I mean, props to Liverpool in a lot of ways. I mean, when I looked at the lineup before the game, I was a little bit skeptical. I was thinking, I mean, this is a little bit of a lineup which is, I mean, Klopp just switching and changing a little bit here and there. But it worked out for the good. Divock Origi, I think you guys can name him Champions League Origi already after this, because every time a Champions League
yeah,
game is on,
yeah.
this guy
No, I
just
think
shows up.
with Harvey Elliott out, Liverpool are going to need a bit of that depth,
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
You
So
know,
it's good
I don't,
management too. It's good
yeah,
management too.
for sure.
Thumbs off.
But
We
it,
have to
it
praise.
just shows how crucial Van Dijk is also to that backline, because I think in terms of communication, in terms of overall sort of experience in Champions League, I think Liverpool could afford in some of the smaller games in the PL to field Gomez and Konate.
Yeah.
But I think Van Dijk starts every Champions League game, considering how hard the group is after this, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe bar Porto. I'm not too sure about that. It depends on Klopp, but I think the midfield and the defense would be crucial to Liverpool getting through. I don't see them getting through on goals alone, for sure.
He's got to play against Atletico. I think Atletico is
Yeah, for sure.
the
So the
big
next
hitter.
game, Milan play Atletico and Liverpool play Porto. So be interesting, guys. But yeah, I just wanted to also give a shout out to Frank Cassier as well. I don't think he had a great game. I think he was a bit dominated. I mean, in terms of intensity, he looked like he was catching his breath half the game. But what a midfield force, I think, in the AC Milan team, and part of sort of the AC Milan that rise, that return. I think Frank Cassier has been like an important cog in the midfield, and just goes to show what you'd have with an energetic sort of box-to-box midfielder there, who's willing to cover and willing to attack also and provide support for the attack. I think you could say maybe United missing midfield link,
definitely.
like someone like Frank Cassier.
Definitely. I mean, there were some small little links, of course, not big ones. Man United, in terms of central midfield, they've been linked with lots of players, Kamavinga to Declan Rice to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he had been playing, for Man United, I think that would be a small little solution to their problems. And I mean, we talk about Man United, and they played young boys in the first day. I think was it Wednesday early morning Malaysian time.
Yes, he was the first. It was the first game basically. They started.
Yeah, first game, Switzerland, early kickoff. Malaysian fans can't complain. It looked like Man United fans were in for a good day because Ronaldo opened the scoring. But of course, after that, the red card happened, and from there on, young boys took the game to Man United. And again, young boys.
It was a red card for Wan-Bissaka, right? Huh?
Red card for Wan-Bissaka. Clear red
was
card.
Was it a red card? Clear red
it
card.
Was a red card. It was. You can't. In today's. Wan-Bissaka didn't mean it. I don't think he had the intent. But in today's game, you can't go in like that. You can't go in like that with VAR and everything like that. You can't go in for a ball like that where it's going to get you to stomp on another player, which of course leads to a red card. That's what happened, and of course that changed the game. And again, this is where I don't want to be overreactionary. I think Man United fans can be a little bit overreactionary. Manchester United fans don't come after me, but they can be a little bit overreactionary. But we do see the problems, and not wanting to touch a lot about the game that they had before, young boys, when they played Newcastle. It's a 4-1 win. Everybody's happy.
Viva Ronaldo,
and everything.
Viva Ronaldo.
But Jerry, I mean, Newcastle were tantalizingly going forward and very much exploiting the open spaces of Man United. I mean, if this is not a Newcastle, if this was not a young boys, if this was, your top teams, your AC Milan, your Liverpools, your Atletico Madrids, Man Cities.
Yeah, they would have punished, I think, United there.
Big time. They're going to exploit big time. And these are the things that Man United need to really solve. I think signing Ronaldo is definitely a big deal. He's one of the GOATs, or if not the GOAT. But it's very clear. I mean, of course, any red card will change any game. We all know that.
Yeah.
But
do you think United could be exposed a lot more with Ronaldo in the team? Do you think? Of course, I think their weaknesses.
With Ronaldo, one thing is, I think he gets the depth of what it is like to play for this Man United team, as compared to when they had people like Michael Carrick, when they had people like Vidic and Ferdinand. I think he gets that.
Paul Scholes,
He sees that. Paul Scholes, I think he sees that today. I think he sees how different that is. Attacking wise, I think Man United are fantastic. We've got lots of good attacking flair players. I think Sancho will come good. I think it's still early on.
Yeah, still early days.
Yeah, still early days, but I think the midfields really something needs to work. If I know McTominay is back in training, and of course he complements Fred. Fred.
I wanted to ask you, Al. Sorry to interrupt there. What do you think about Donny van de Beek's performance? He started the match, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think the Donny van de Beek experiment doesn't look really good. I think
right.
It's come to a situation where, you see, Donny van de Beek, when he was playing with Ajax, he was playing in the position up front, right behind the striker, which in this team right now is occupied by Bruno Fernandes. Now, Solskjaer is not going to be dropping Bruno Fernandes, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bruno is the go-to guy. Bruno is your talisman. And quite frankly, I think Bruno is a much more individually talented player for the Premier League than Donny van de Beek. And it looks a bit bleak for Donny van de Beek, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking he had a start, but I didn't think that he influenced the game so much, right? Of course, it's not going to be a lost cause, but I don't see him having the trust of Solskjaer. I think with people like McTominay injured and all of these things, and if Solskjaer wants to get somebody to play as a CDM, he's going to look at Matic, which, to be very honest, is a limited player because of his age. He doesn't have the legs anymore. You've got a younger player there, Donny van de Beek, but he's not being selected. You pick Fred, who every game makes mistakes, gives the ball away cheaply, but you still pick him for Donny van de Beek. So I think it's got to be something there, and I think that Solskjaer doesn't trust him, and he could be gone by January, Jerry. I wouldn't be surprised, because he's going to be wanting to get game time. He wants to get.
He should get game time. maybe coming to the Premier League is a big step up for sure. But
It is from Ajax.
I
It
think
is.
somewhere in Italy, somewhere I think even a move to Germany, like him
Yeah.
playing in a Dortmund team, I could see it working out.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
him
Dortmund.
playing for Dortmund or even Leipzig or something like that, or a
Yeah,
team where it's not as quick paced and not because like it would be quite treacherous for him purely because of like the eyes on him in England, like the English media, United fans, football
yeah,
fans. I
yeah.
think for a young player, it's not good to have that sort of distraction. It'll
No,
definitely affect
definitely,
your game. And I think he needs to go
definitely.
somewhere where he can just quietly like just keep his head down, do his game and like, just gain the trust of the fan base and the club in general,
I think
for
he is
sure.
a talented player. I think he's got
Yeah.
talent. I bet he can do the Cruyff turn in his sleep. But that's not what Man United need at the moment. I think Man United
Yeah.
need discipline in the middle. I think Man United needs somebody who's going to be, like Michael Carrick, which is surprising because Michael Carrick is one of their coaches. And it's baffling because you think that, hey, you've got the right guy to coach you to do that role, that
Yeah.
sweeper sort of a role, that bringing the ball from the back to the attack. But it just looks. I don't think any of those midfielders do it well because I think Pogba needs to play forward. Bruno needs to play forward. It's those guys behind them that needs to
Yeah.
be that transition player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, good credit young boys. Credit young boys. I thought they were
Yeah.
fearless and they
Yeah,
deserve to
and I
win.
think I think also like the players of United, like especially Lingard, and I would say he's one
Yeah,
of the senior players in the team. I think they need to cut out those like mistakes. I think that
yeah,
last minute mistake is something that
yeah.
you,
It's
you can't have
unforgivable.
in the Champions
Can't do
League.
that.
Yes, I
Can't
mean
do
it's
that.
punishable. Every team will punish you, and
Yeah,
especially in Champions League. I think like even like a slow touch or like a misplaced pass,
mm,
I mean, can affect the game so quickly in the Champions
yeah,
League.
yeah.
So it's crucial that
Those kind of things happen, but you can't let that
yeah.
happen in the Champions League. Spot on. I mean, I agree with you. You
Yeah.
can't. Lingard's always being deemed as a young player. He's not. I think what he's 20,
Mhm.
27, 26.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He's
he
already
he
one of the senior players in that team. I think
he
he
is
should
he
be
is
getting
he
the
can't
same.
he can't be he can't be letting that
Yeah,
happen. But credit young boys.
for sure. For sure. Moving on, in terms of solid performances, Chelsea, I think, had not the best of games, definitely against Zenit, but
Yeah.
definitely a solid performance in terms of they a 1-0 win, hard fought 1-0 win. But what I thought was key from the Chelsea performance against Zenit was that there aren't going to be days where they're going to create like a multitude of chances and they're going to
Yeah.
be, entirely dominant. But what was key about this Chelsea win was the fact that they had that one chance, that one clear cut chance, and they took it because of Lukaku,
Yeah.
and
Lukaku.
because of having like a striker on the field. So, I mean, I have to say, I was very genuinely surprised. I mean, pleasantly surprised by how well Chelsea has been defensively, considering they've had like quite a tough start to the season. I mean, they're going to have
Yeah.
a test against um,
Spurs?
Spurs
Is it
this week.
Spurs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, defensively, they do look solid. I mean, it doesn't look like they're going to be leaking in goals, but definitely
Mm.
to be a champion, they're going to have to find that balance between attack and defense. And the whole game, I think Zenit pretty much shut Chelsea out. They didn't have many clear cut chances. There was
Yeah.
one chance though, dude. Rudiger literally ran all the way from like defense. If you check it, you should check it
It,
out.
it,
He
it
ran
was
all
out
the
in the
way from the
second half, right?
defense. Yeah, right up until like the opposition penalty box and had a shot. It was epic lah. But that was like, I mean, if you need your centre back to run out all the way to the opposition half and take a shot for that to be one of your best chances, I think it was pretty obvious that Chelsea didn't have many chances to kill the game, but the one chance they got, they killed the game, and it
Yeah. Yeah.
was it was Dave Aspilicueta, I think. So what he had done was he came on and he had basically just one cross into the box and Lukaku. So from all the sort of playing through the lines and this smart play that Chelsea had, literally is one ball into the box, lofted cross, and a header
Boom.
into the
Goal.
bottom corner goal. So you see, I think that it's very crucial to Chelsea's sort of performance this year would be the fact that they can capitalize on the little chances they get if they cannot break teams open in the Champions League. But having someone like Lukaku there to get them all kinds of goals. So goals where he's running into the box, goals where he's running behind defenders, goals where they are basically using his aerial threat and everything. So, I mean,
Oh, yeah. Well,
nothing to pick apart about the Chelsea performance much really. I think they were solid all around from defensive to attack.
I think what we can see with Chelsea, especially this season, is the difference when you've got Lukaku up front.
Yeah.
I still think that Timo Werner, if you don't look at the part of the goals, does bring something to the team. But he that presence, the central figure, that number 9 physicality, I think Lukaku does that really so well. Again, Chelsea, I thought didn't play so well against Zenit, as well as the game before that in the Premier League. I can't remember who they played, but they won as well. And I think that's what's going to matter.
They played Aston Villa. But Aston Villa had a lot of chances.
Exactly.
I mean, they played without Kante. They played without Kante on the day, and you see, this was the thing about Chelsea's performance over the weekend. If I can just add to your point there, they were 3-0 victors against Aston Villa, but the man of the match for Chelsea was Eduardo Mendy. So that itself tells you how they were riding their luck. Also, I mean, the game was evenly balanced until someone like Lukaku, like you just mentioned there, he just comes in and kills the game.
Yeah, so that's the difference. That's what they've got this season, which it's going to be taking them probably a long way. Time only will tell, but it looks like as though they have solved certain problems that we saw last season. Last season, Timo Werner was missing opening chances, open goal chances. And this season it's different. This season, one chance, like you said, ball into the box, Lukaku, boom, goal. You see? And Chelsea 3 points at the end of the day. And again, I think it's been 2 games, and defensively, we must command them. Even this goes back to the Liverpool game as well. But they don't look so. I wouldn't think that they played their best football over the last 2 games. But they got the 3 points, which of course to Thomas Tuchel is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And I think Lukaku is the main, not the main, but one of the big differences, I would say. Because let's not forget, players like Aspilicueta, players like Jorginho, all of these players, they're playing well. They are.
No, I think as well, like honorable mention to Rudiger, from where he was last season, this time under Lampard, until now, he's playing like a man possessed. He's like completely, and that shows itself also what a manager coming in, like a manager with Tuchel's pedigree. I mean, I would compare him to Klopp and Guardiola, and in comparison with young managers like like Patrick Vieira, Arteta, maybe Ole in that sense also, you can see the sort of the experience sort of come through, and I think with a big dressing room, like with the players that Chelsea have, with the balance of obviously like experienced professionals and young up and coming players, I think number one thing is they need to respect the manager and his philosophy,
Right.
And I think Tuchel gets that from his dressing room. It's pretty obvious that I think they do have a lot of respect for him, and they look like they can play whatever system he lays out for them.
They're playing for him, basically.
They're definitely playing for him, dude. So, that was the plus point. But yeah, I mean, I think Chelsea is going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. Yeah, so moving on.
They look like favourites, They look like favourites for the Premier League.
Yeah, for sure.
Quite solid team.
Yeah.
We only have to wait and see. Only
what
one
do you think
man.
of City? Oh.
Well, what a game as well. I mean, this is one of those games.
No lack of firepower, definitely.
Yeah, it's like one of those games where you will not fall asleep in the wee hours of the morning if you are watching this in Malaysia, obviously. 6-3. I mean, again, Man City, I thought, let's not take anything away from them. Perfect attacking side and matched in a certain way by a certain Christopher Nkunku, who scored a hat-trick for Leipzig as well. And importantly, right? Very importantly, when we look at that game, I want to assess a few things. I thought Jack Grealish had a good game, scored
Yeah.
even, were very good goal, well taken goal. Very very Messi-esque in cutting in and just top bins into the right hand corner,
Yeah.
left hand
Yeah.
side of the
Yeah.
keeper. Yeah, and but Leipzig did take the game to them. But I thought at the end of the day, City's firepower was just too strong for Red Bull Leipzig. And we'll have to wait and see the reverse fixture in Germany. How is it going to pan out? Nathan Ake also had a good game, I thought.
Yeah.
Some of the honourable mentions for Man City, but Man City again steamrolled 6-3. I thought when the
Yeah.
goals came in for Leipzig, you'd think, okay, you know what? Leipzig's got the ascendancy here. Leipzig's got
Yeah.
they've got the confidence, but nope. At the other end, City just
Yeah.
kept
I
on
don't think
killing off.
I don't think it's a lack of goals, firepower, performances from the players. It
Yeah.
seems like it's a lack of support or maybe a lack of atmosphere.
Oh
As
yeah, I
as
heard
the
that as well.
empty heart they
Yeah.
call it, empty heart.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm just kidding, but it was kind of empty, lah, to be honest. Comparing to the other sort of big teams, I don't imagine Trafford would be empty like this.
Yeah,
Even the bridge was
definitely.
full, that day.
Well, if you look at it, I think City fans, their feathers were a little bit ruffled by Guardiola's comments, and I would like to think rightly so. I don't think anybody wants to not go to a football game, especially if you're in UK, you're in England,
Yeah, yeah,
Manchester. So again, why there's not a full house, there's not a selling out of the game. Again, there might be many factors as to why this is. Again, Manchester is not a London. Manchester is a very working class city with people who still have to make their ends meet, people who still have to pay top dough to go and see a football game. And again, if you're looking at how to solve this problem in the best way, the most simplest of ways, the most logical of ways, well, I would think that for starters, Man City's got to lower down their ticket pricing. But you see,
yeah,
they're not going to do that,
yeah,
especially post COVID. They're not going to do that, right?
for sure.
You could say you could lower it down a little bit, but
Because the response was in Manchester that taxes have gone up and benefits have gone
exactly,
down. So
exactly.
I think football has to come a long way in terms of
Mm,
making the game affordable for even the
mm.
the
See, if you
lowest
think
earning
about it,
the
you
lowest
look at a
earning
club like
citizen.
you look at a club like Man City, right?
Yeah,
They've got essentially now and then most weeks they've got two games to go and play, the league game during the weekend and of course a midweek game, whether it
yeah,
be a League Cup game or whether it be a Champions League game. And of course, let's not forget you've got traveling support as well.
yeah,
And the common consensus in the UK is that traveling supporting fans are the ones which are the most hardcore, usually the ones which are not to take anything away from the home fans, but they may be the same people at the end of the day, but
yeah,
usually the away support is the one where they say,
yeah.
I'm going for that, I'm going for this. So again, it's for a football fan, it's not easy. And
Yeah.
especially
Al,
again,
I'm
like you
just going
mentioned.
to read you out something here, right? In
Yeah,
terms
go
of
ahead.
fans and football fan. So this is literally, I just Googled it in a minute. So the cliches surrounding cheap and affordable football in Germany are well known and attracts thousands of British fans every season. And they're not
Yeah,
untrue. The
yeah,
average cost of a standing season ticket in a Bundesliga club is 186 euros for the season ticket and
right,
€1 on last season, but still working out just a €10 per game. So average of €10 for a ticket per game.
right.
I
There you
mean,
go. There you go.
I think any I think even a teenager, with his
Yeah,
with his allowance, weekly allowance, would be able to afford a ticket there.
exactly. No, exactly. If you look at it dollar to dollar, let's not talk about conversion. If
Mm,
you're in school, you want to go and catch a game with your mates, or even if you're in college, 10 ringgit, fine, no
yeah,
problem. Doesn't hurt you so much, right?
yeah,
But when you're talking about games, Arsenal away, I remember Arsenal tickets are crazy, and those kind of things. And I'm supposing the same as well with City fans who are probably struggling to get tickets to go and see their games. It's not
Yeah.
easy, and I know where Guardiola's coming from. I'm sure his team himself feeds from the support. We can see,
Yeah.
you can see your Jurgen Klopp's, how he punches the air, towards the cop end, Man United, Solskjaer, the Stratford end, and all these clubs and all of that. But I'm sure Guardiola wants that. Guardiola needs that. The team needs
Definitely.
that, right?
Definitely.
And he wants to get the fans to come back and to fill out the stadiums, but it's not easy for the fans. And again, I stand by whatever I say. I don't think any fan doesn't want to go. I don't think they don't want to attend a football game. If you're a City fan, your family is a City fan, I'm sure you want to go. But maybe just coming from a working class environment, affording 2 games per week is a little bit tough. And you've got to pick one. And you've got to pick the one where it's on the weekend. I mean, we know we're working men, we can see, we can foresee. So yeah, I mean, I did see the comments. They said that you should stick to coaching. You let us be the fans, but it's a difficult situation. It's a difficult situation because he wants the fans.
For sure. But I mean that shouldn't take away from the performance on the day itself. I'm sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely they were fantastic.
Yeah, maybe a little bit vulnerable defensively, in that sense. Maybe with, of course, Diaz was the captain on the day, but he definitely needs a little bit more, I think, in game time in that team to really sort of come through. I mean, Christopher and Nkunku, I think he got 3 headers, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
3 headers.
Yeah. So that rounds off the English teams in the Champions League. So 3 teams, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester City, come away with a win, excluding United, who came away with a loss, obviously. But I guess it's a good showing by the English teams, definitely, in the Champions League. And just to quickly run through the other games. So I guess the other big game I would mention would be Bayern and Barcelona. I think commanding performance by Bayern. I don't think they were at their best on the day, but they were definitely a lot better than Barcelona, that's for sure. And it just seemed like, just seeing the Camp Nou half empty on a Champions League night against Bayern doesn't seem right. It just seems so weird, dude. I mean, the Camp Nou shouldn't be half empty. And there's definitely a loss there in that sense, where I think a lot of fans didn't turn up because they sort of already had that preconceived notion that they're going to lose,
So a certain loss of a certain Argentine messiah not being there anymore. I'm sure that's a big factor as well. But you know what? I'll tell you, Bayern, fullbacks,
strong, right?
Benjamin Pavard, Alphonse Davies, my word.
And Lewandowski, man.
Lewandowski.
He never fails to get off the mark and just literally run off the mark at his age,
Yeah. What a player. I mean, Bayern, their usual perfectionist self. Thomas Muller.
Because Barca weren't far off. In terms of possession, it was 48 to Bayern's 52. 537 passes to Bayern's 577. Passing accuracy was the same, 88%. The only thing was shots on target. You see, Bayern had 17 shots, 7 shots on target, to Barca's 5 shots and 0 shots on target,
There you go. So tells you the story of the game in a very small way.
Yeah, definitely. But what a match for the neutrals in the end. But a club with the history of Barca, definitely. I think they're definitely on the rise. I mean, I don't think they can sink any lower than they have, in the past few months and the past years. I think the ultimate low recently was that loss to that semi-final loss at Anfield. I think that was the biggest blow. And I don't think they can sink any lower than that, to be honest.
I mean, they can pick up. They can pick up from where they are. They can.
And they have a reasonably alright group with Kiev and Benfica.
They've got good players.
I would think, they definitely have good players. That's for sure. But definitely standout perform because they did try a back three.
Yeah.
Against Bayern of Araujo, Pique, and Garcia. So I mean, inexperienced, but still a lot to learn. I mean, it's a reasonably young squad. I mean, with Frankie De Jong, Pedri, Garcia, Araujo, Depay. So I guess there's a reason. But I wanted to mention Jamal Musiala, what a player, man.
Yeah, yeah.
We've seen his performances recently. I mean, really, he was the standout performer in that Bayern team, Jamal Musiala. I mean,
Yeah,
he's keeping Serge Gnabry out of the team.
which says a lot. I was just going to say,
Yeah, says a
Serge
lot.
Gnabry. Yeah, I know. I mean, what a performance, lah.
Yeah,
And again, this what is he? Is he what, just 18 years old or something like that?
yeah. I think he's
And look at the way
definitely
he's
one of the
playing.
youngest players in that team,
Yeah,
Jamal Musiala. He's
one of
18.
those.
Yeah, he was born in 2003, man. If that makes you feel old. But he
One of those
plays
attacking
he plays
midfielders
like
for
a
the
very
current generation.
mature. Yeah,
Mm. No, I mean, he played fantastic football, and of course, looking back at that game, so many comments that came after that. You see the next big thing. He is going to be the next big thing, and all of
yeah,
those things and all that.
yeah.
And yeah, no, I mean, this
I
guy,
guess he
the
was
way he
right also
performed.
for choosing Germany over England.
Yeah, definitely. He was at Chelsea, wasn't he?
I'm not too
Yeah, I
sure,
think
but
he was at Chelsea. I
he
think he
was at
was
Chelsea.
playing.
Huh?
They're playing for Chelsea,
Yeah,
and you're playing for Bayern now. Fantastic footballer, one of those
yeah,
attacking midfielders that I think are going to be the next generation's top stars.
yeah.
Obviously, looking at the performance that he put
I
in
think
the
he
other
will be
day
playing more in the Champions League with Gnabry playing in the
in the Bundesliga. Yeah,
Bundesliga more. But I'm looking forward to see him. I think he could be a standout performer. I mean, very similar to what Phil Foden did last year, with City. He was sort of
fantastic
one of the
ball
standout
control.
performances. Yeah,
One
really.
thing I look at it
And
is the
very,
ball
very,
control.
very, very aggressive player, I mean, not aggressive in terms of pushing players off the ball, but I think in terms of the shots he takes,
Yeah,
the way he takes on defenders, you want to see the energy. You want to see the energy. You don't want to see like a youngster who's just like,
mm.
every match just three take on, sort of like a bit like not. I mean, I think his work rate is like very high, so very
Yeah,
commendable in that sense.
very big
So
asset to just both Bayern
yeah,
and Germany. Lah.
moving on. The other match I picked, I guess Juventus and Malmo was a good match, but the other match I picked, Al, to be one of the standout matches this week was Ajax against Sporting. Sebastian Haller with 4 goals.
Raining with the best
Yeah,
thing about match day one is that it's raining goals everywhere, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just what a
Just a year ago, he was struggling at West Ham. Couldn't even break into West Ham's first team. I guess he was in the first team, but couldn't get the goals. And now he's banging in goals for Ajax.
yep,
So
yep,
that goes to show.
it
That goes to show.
reminds me of
That goes to
Dusan
show.
Tadic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
that goes
came
to show, like someone like Donny van de Beek, you can understand why he did well at Ajax. I imagine, like,
exactly.
I guess there's not so much pressure in that sense. I think it's pretty obvious that playing in England, I mean, even for West Ham,
Mm,
there was definitely some pressure there. I mean, now at
definitely.
Ajax in the Champions League against Sporting, against Sporting Lisbon to be bagging in
Totally
4
different
goals.
player,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
yeah, a totally different player.
I
Another
think I
evenly
think
matched game there.
I think what comes with English football in general is the physicality, of course, and
Yeah,
the speed of the game. And whilst you play for Ajax, and like you said, the pressure is different, and players like Donny van de Beek can take 1, 2, 3 touches and give you that beautiful total football sort of a pass, the inside foot,
yeah,
outside foot, all of those kind of things. You can't do that
yeah,
in the Premier League, or if you can, you've got to do it at speed, which is just which is different skill altogether. And
yeah,
yeah, you're right. It reminds me of Busan Tadic as well. Busan Tadic didn't play that badly for Southampton, but when he went to Ajax, this is like a totally different player. Somebody who's a
yeah,
baller, somebody who's playing
yeah.
against teams like Chelsea and all of these things, and
Going to the
actually
Bernabeu and scoring like
yeah,
golazos.
exactly. Good, yeah, you're spot on. Going to the Bernabeu, and just basically playing with freedom, with such
Yeah,
confidence, and yeah,
yeah,
you could be right. I mean, definitely, the Premier League is a different animal.
yeah, for sure. So moving on from that, I think the other standout games were obviously Juventus with a 3-0 win. Good game there. I think Morata and Dybala getting on the score sheet. Definitely a
Yeah,
team to look out for. And I guess really no match for Malmo. The other really interesting game was Besiktas and Dortmund. So Dortmund 2-1 victors there. But Jude
2-1
Bellingham,
victors.
man of the
Jude
match. I think
Bellingham,
what a
right.
performances. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a performance by Jude Bellingham. And also one of the newcomers to the Champions League, Team Sheriff.
Sheriff, yeah.
Yeah, got so Sheriff are a team from now I have to check. Sheriff Tiraspol.
Where is it from?
I'm checking now. It's a bit unprofessional, guys, but I'm not too sure where this team is.
It doesn't mean that we have no idea where Sheriff comes from. FC Sheriff is from Moldova, is it?
Moldova,
yeah. FC Sheriff Tiraspol. It's from Moldova. Yeah,
a great start for them, and they have a winger there called Adama Traore, got the goal.
I read about them being included in the Champions League and their story towards coming into the Champions League.
Yeah.
Really fantastic, man. And I think
I guess we'll have more time in the future to sort of touch on that.
To speak about them, definitely.
Honourable mention. Obviously, Atletico and Porto with a 0-0 draw. Real Madrid with a last-minute winner there towards the end. And definitely, I think for the last two games, the first game at Santiago Bernabeu over the weekend, I think, just quickly, I think they were back after quite a long time. I think there were renovations done to the Bernabeu. And this game against Inter, I think Camavinga was a standout performer.
Oh yeah, he was. He's the one that gave the header to the goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
The assist to the goal.
And Villarreal, Atlanta, I guess, with a 2-2. Lille and Wolfsburg as well with a 0-0 draw. And it's funny how we mentioned Sheriff Tiraspol before we mentioned PSG.
Oops. Okay. That means
sorry, guys.
You don't have to worry.
Any Messi glory hunters, any PSG glory hunters, but we didn't have time to go through PSG because they just didn't have that much of performance for us to get into. To be honest,
priorities, guys.
We will see how obviously with a 1-1 draw with Club Brugge there. So I think that rounds off our Champions League review. I will definitely be putting out more Champions League content. I think we'll definitely like to have some of our shows as well, focusing purely on the Champions League. But moving on, we just since we didn't do a review on last week's games, I think obviously Arsenal with their first win, that was something to comment, definitely. Didn't look too convincing, if I'm completely honest, against sort of not really it was a dangerous team in Norwich, you know.
It was a win, but they didn't look convincing. You're right on that.
Yeah, in that sense, Liverpool with a convincing performance away to Leeds. I think great atmosphere at Ellen Road. Always dangerous place to go to, but obviously our thoughts with Harvey Elliott, you know, I think. What a shame to see what injury to a young player like that, but I think he's in the best club, best team possible to make a comeback. And United, Ronaldo returned to the king. What could you tell me about Ronaldo's return to Old Trafford?
Euphoria.
It's like he never left, eh? Like he
never left. You know, you the easiest tap in I think Ronaldo history, even United history.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at Man United now with Cristiano Ronaldo. I think the attacking threat is definitely there. But like what we just mentioned just now, I think the problems that they need to sort out, Solskjaer needs to sort out, is definitely in the midfield. You know, you can't be shipping in goals. You can't be playing with such, you know, limited midfielders to opening spaces. I thought Saint-Maximin had a field day, you know, in the middle. I thought that he was really, it looks like 4-1, fantastic win, you know. But I thought Newcastle had their pressure during certain moments in the game as well. And United's got to look at that and they've really got to be thinking, because this is Newcastle, you know. But I think that your top 8 teams are not going to be, you know, needing 1, 2, 3 chances to actually score 1 goal, you know. Your Aston Villas, in all of these teams, let alone your Chelseas, your Cities, your Liverpool. So I think for United, they've got to sort out the midfield issue. And again, they're going to be playing West Ham this weekend. So that's going to be a big test Mikel Antonio, Thomas Soucek, Lanzini, and co. It'll be a feisty affair.
For sure. And the last mention I want to give for the last round of games, Patrick Vieira against his former foes, Tottenham Hotspur.
Vieira still defeats.
To be honest, Al, I think I'll let you know now. I didn't let you know this before. I think I'll let you know now. So I created an FPL team with the Al and Jerry handle, right? And I put Lloris as our keeper since he had 3 clean sheets before this game. And that was a huge mistake, man, because, I mean, Spurs were just exposed all over the park. And what a start for Odsonne Edouard. I mean,
what a start. Yep.
I mean, I think the quickest goal scored on a debut, I think came out from the bench and scored within 20-something seconds. I think that was like a record there in that sense. But do you think Spurs can bounce back against City this week? I mean, just to quickly end, since we have a few more minutes and we would look to round up soon, do you think Spurs can bounce back against City? I guess that would be the preview for this week's game. Definitely the biggest game over the weekend.
Well, Spurs Chelsea. I mean, it's going to be an affair.
Bounce back against Chelsea, not City.
Yeah,
my mistake.
City.
My mistake.
Chelsea is going to be a good game. Spurs Chelsea, sorry, it's going to be a good game, and I think they're not going to be able to play with Tanganga, right? He's the one which is banned for the game, isn't it?
Yes.
Got red carded, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a miss.
They don't even have Eric. They don't have Eric Dyer because he limped off that day. So they're missing Romero, they're missing Tanganga, and they're missing.
I think Tanganga is going to be the big miss. Tanganga operates as a fullback, and of course this guy is going to be one-on-one with players like Jack Grealish, and I thought that he played very well against. He played very well against Grealish. He's not going to be operating so well against Chelsea's attack, which is going to be coming from the wings, and I think that's going to be the miss for Tottenham. But Nuno Espirito Santo, I think this guy, if he gets his tactics right, if Spurs, if Son, they show up, if they play like how they played against City, because against City, I thought everybody was playing to their top form. Lucas Moura playing in from the midfield, connecting to the attack. The defenders were top notch. So they've got to do the same. I think with Chelsea, Lukaku is definitely going to be the main threat. So it's going to be interesting to see how Lukaku is going to be faring with the Spurs central defenders. But don't take anything away from Spurs. I think that against Palace, the red card changed the game to a whole big deal, and of course Palace really profited from that.
Definitely.
Spurs Chelsea is going to be a good game because it's going to be an incredible tactical battle. I think Chelsea might edge it, but again, I think that Nuno Espirito Santos is going to be tactically aware towards Chelsea's attack, Chelsea's threat. Yeah. And it's going to be one of those games that I'm going to be looking forward to watch as well.
Definitely. I mean, we don't know what.
Harry Kane's going to be.
Yeah.
Harry Kane's going to perform.
He's going to make his comeback against Chelsea. I think it'll be interesting battle to see who comes out on top on the day itself. Can Kane return, or will Lukaku be the best performer? Yeah, I think really against Crystal Palace, they were on Spurs. Because initially I thought, when the season started, I thought that Nuno wanted to start off defensively and maybe, work on the team, maybe get in a bit more players before they become an attacking threat. I thought he wanted to basically focus on the team's defensive capabilities,
Right.
And they had done well. I think that first 3 games to get a clean sheet, I think was good defensively, great defensive performance, better than what we saw under Mourinho. But you see, Al, in the English Premier League, all it takes is for one incident to happen, one red card to happen, or even one striker just coming on and having like a baptism of fire, So with the English Premier League, I don't think it's safe to play that negatively throughout the course of the season. I think Nuno would definitely. I think this will be a test for Nuno to show whether he can bring some sort of attacking energy to the team. They definitely need a little bit of energy in their attack. I mean, very energetic when it comes to closing down and when it comes to defending. But in terms of attack, I don't really see that much. It seems like Ali is like a bit lackluster. It's not like the Ali and Kane of old, but definitely be a good test for Nuno.
They've got to be playing to to their best form. I think Kane, Son, Ali, all of these players, right?
Yeah.
They're going to want to beat someone like Chelsea, a team like Chelsea. They've got to be top. And same goes to Chelsea as well. I think Lukaku will be up for it, judging on form. Lukaku, Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta is one of those players who gives you your 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 all games. I think he's very underrated, honestly. And bombing down the right, as a fullback, right? So definitely he's just looking at that, and it's going to be a good affair. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to. I mean, every Premier League weekend looks like it's going to be interesting. So we'll end on that note in that sense. So rounding off the Champions League in terms of the big teams, I think United maybe would have been the more disappointed. I mean, definitely were the more disappointed of all the English teams. United fans, I know Desmond sometimes listens and Wager also sometimes listens. Do tell me, guys, what do you think about the United situation? Ronaldo coming in, would he expose a little bit more of their problems? They definitely do need a midfielder. What do you think of, that situation and what it would take for them to sort of kick on the Champions League campaign and sort of challenge the other title challengers like Chelsea and Liverpool? So, yeah, that's it. That's been another recording of the Al and Jerry Football Podcast with me, Jerry, and my buddy El. So, thank you for listening if you're out there. Terima kasih.
See you all.
That was
Ciao.
a good sesh. Thanks, Al, for joining me. Have a good weekend ahead, bro. Bye.